Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, we've been out for the holidays, so we're just getting back. And I figured I'd do a live here since there's been lots of stuff going on, and we did a lot of videos. We released a lot of videos while we were on vacation. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we'll do. The same thing I normally do. Once I get about 100 people in here, then we'll start firing up the questions. If you got questions, put them in the comments. I've already checked a few. Let's see here. If you're while we're waiting, anybody wants to chime in where they're from? We got some people from Washington, Alberta. Another person from Alberta. Seem to get a lot of people from Alberta and Canada. Oh my goodness, we got here. I'll put this up. That's Catherine. Hey Catherine, how's it going? She says, finally I catch one at the beginning. Let's see how many people we got in here right now. Wow, we're already up to 120. Okay, no time like the present. Texas, Michigan, Athens, Fort Lauderdale, Montana, Iowa, Missouri, North Carolina, South Texas, Jersey, Texas, Pinellas Park, Nebraska, British Columbia, Wisconsin, Indiana, Agua Dulce. Wow, there's a ton of people. Calgary, Long Island, Delaware. Cool. Okay, let's get, I've got a few questions starred here. Let's put those up. From Goldie. Perfect. That's not a question. Here's a question. Did you regularly write KRs on one another? Made me laugh. Sorry. Well, that's a good question. In the beginning, when you say each other or on one another, if you mean other Scientologists, yeah, Scientologists write KRs, and a KR is, in Scientology, a knowledge report is called a KR. And a knowledge report, it's basically like when you rat somebody out, you write a report on that person saying exactly what they did, and then you send it into the organization. So it's basically, if you write a knowledge report, someone's going to get in trouble, most likely. Excuse me. Wow. I got a little frog in my throat there. So yeah, you normally, well, in Scientology, there's a policy, a L. Ron Hubbard policy, letter that's called knowledge reports. And if you know about a Scientology crime or something that, somebody did, and you don't write a knowledge report on it, and then it comes out later that you did know about it, then you face the same penalties as the person who actually did the crime. So not writing a KR on when you know something is up, then you can get in trouble. Now, Goldie, I see Goldie said, no, she meant you and Claire. As far as I know, I've never written a knowledge report on Claire. Now, Claire cannot say the same thing about me. So I would never rat her out, but she did rat me out a few times. And that's in my book, when she did, with the times, a few of the times when she ratted me out. Okay, let me start up a few more questions here. Got all kinds of good stuff here. Oh wow, yeah, we got a lot of people. We got a lot of people showed up here. Perfect. Awesome. This is great. Okay, let me go back to the ones I've started up here. Okay, can you go... Here we go. Can you go and install spy cameras so we can all see the chaos Aaron is causing? It would be amazing content. So, yeah, no. But yes, Aaron Smith-Levin on the Growing Up in Scientology channel is, I can only imagine, causing... pretty much nonstop chaos over at Scientology land. One of the things that's kind of really gone crazy in the last year or two is that there are a lot of Scientologists that are watching these Scientology channels that are telling people stuff that Scientology would never tell them. It's happening, but Scientology is not going to tell them that these things are happening. And so there's basically kind of like this, in Scientology, they call it creating a vacuum. So there's things going on and there's a lack of information. And so it creates this sort of knowledge vacuum. And Aaron is filling that vacuum. And I'm trying to fill that vacuum a little bit. And Mike Rinder and all these different people are putting that information out there that Scientology does not want out there. And so a lot of Scientologists are watching these things and they're getting answers to their questions, and then they're deciding to leave Scientology, or they're trying to kind of maneuver their way out of Scientology. And a lot of these people who've made this decision, it's sort of an easy ask for them to just provide information that they know that's current. And so you've got a lot of people that are planning on leaving Scientology, or they've already kind of left in their mind, but Scientologists don't know that they're out or that they're planning on leaving. So they still have current intelligence and information on what's going on in Scientology, and then they're feeding it to people outside of Scientology. So yes, Aaron is causing quite a ruckus over there. Okay, this is one from JLD is me. Where is the sewage retention pond at Int? Oh yeah, we didn't do that on that video. The retention, I did a walk, if you haven't seen it, I did a walkthrough of the entire international base Scientology property with Aaron a few days ago on his channel. And we didn't really go into great detail, but we kind of covered, did an overview of the different buildings, the major buildings on the property. I do want to do like a detailed video and sort of go through each building with more information. But the retention ponds are sort of, I want to say, northwest of the property, towards Riverside, in that direction. And you'll see it. There's two giant ponds. If you go on Google Earth, you'll see there's just two giant ponds that are out past the Cine Castle. If you just Google Cine Castle or Cine Castle Golden Era Productions, just past that, you'll see these two ponds, and those are the retention ponds. Okay, there's another one from Jennifer. If I remember correctly, in your book you mentioned you bought DM a Depeche Mode album for Christmas once. Which one was it? Did it have any favorite artists or songs? Yes, at the international headquarters, we would get paid $46.28 a week. That was our total paycheck for a 100-hour plus week, every week. Some weeks we didn't get paid. But the weeks we did get paid, we got $46.28. Now, if it was Dave Miscavige's birthday or it was Christmas time, depending on that year and depending on how much we were getting paid, like if we were getting paid every week or if we only got paid once a month, they would deduct a certain portion of our pay to go towards a gift for David Miscavige. So out of $46, you could get like $10 out of your pay to give a gift for Dave. And that was just for Golden Era Productions. Some organizations, they would take out $10 a week leading up to Christmas or leading up to his birthday for like a total of $50 a person. And in some other organizations, like at Author Services International, which is L. Ron Hubbard's literacy agent in Los Angeles, they got, one year they all got huge bonuses, and their bonuses were donated to buy him a BMW 7 Series. So I can't even remember the question. Oh, buying him so when they would have this, I kind of figured out a workaround, which was if they take $5 or $10 out of my pay for several weeks, I could end up giving him $20 or $30. Or I could just give him a Depeche Mode CD. I worked in the manufacturing division, so I could even take an older Depeche Mode CD that I already had, and I could re-shrink wrap it and give it to him as new. And then that way I wouldn't end up spending $50 on a present for him. And then when they would say, oh, we're taking it out of your pay, I'd say, no. I already gave him a gift. I want my full pay. So yes, we did give him presents for at least for his birthday and Christmas, and then sometimes other occasions as well, which is kind of crazy. Does it get to you when someone writes a KR on you for dumb stuff? Yeah. So that's a good question, kind of circling back to the knowledge reports. In Scientology, there's some people that are basically like career criminals, and they're just always up to nonsense and doing horrible things, and they get KRs written them all the time. And then there's other people who are just doing their jobs, and maybe they made a mistake, or maybe they did something silly. And there's people that are goody two-shoes that just write up a knowledge report on anything and everything. And that definitely does happen. And on those things, you just got to be just like, whatever. And if somebody, they have in the knowledge reports policy letter from L. Ron Hubbard, it says if you want to know who's causing problems in the organization, then you just look at their ethics folders, and these knowledge reports get filed into an ethics folder. Everything's hard copy there, by the way. So just killing trees every chance they get over in Scientologyville. But if you get a lot of knowledge reports, your file starts to get your ethics file starts to get thicker. And I would always joke when I was there that, cause I was doing a lot of things and I was in a lot of areas and I was over a ton of people. So like if we didn't go to study, if my crew, at one point I probably had about 30 or 40 crew under me. And if we didn't go to study, then I would get a knowledge report for each person that didn't attend study. So I could get 40 reports in my folder in one go from a supervisor saying this person didn't show up to study. And then they would put me on the report with the person who didn't show up. And they do that times 40 people. So I would often joke that I don't have a thick file. I've got my own drawer. It's just silly Scientology stuff. Okay. What's this one? Thank you for doing the deep dive on all the BS they did that goes on hand in hand with your book. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for thanking me. Okay. What was it like at the Ent base when someone blew? Did people talk about it, or did they just pretend that the person never existed? That's a real good question. So there was tons of people that escaped over the years. Like at one point, I want to say at the international headquarters, there was at least like 800 people there, maybe almost 1,000 people. And so by the time I left in 2005, I want to say there was about maybe 300-400 people there. So some people got kicked out, but a lot of those people escaped. And usually what would happen is if somebody did escape, then, I'm trying to think. It really depended on the person, but in a lot of cases, there'd be an announcement, and then, like, I'm sure this happens in the regular world. I've seen this in like other kind of corporate and business situations where when someone's fired or someone quits, then anything bad that's happening in the company was all because of that one person. Scientology does that every single time. So when somebody escapes, they would usually, anybody and everybody who maybe even that person still there who perpetrated this thing that's wrong, or that they themselves did something wrong and no one ever figured out who did it, it would all get blamed on the latest person who escaped. It'd be like, oh yeah, no, blah, blah, blah. He did all that. So, yeah, and they would usually tell everybody, like there was this one guy that left that I knew. He was a little bit, he was a little chubby, but they said when he left that he started doing drugs, he was hanging out with prostitutes full time, and that he was like 350, 400 pounds, and that he moved to Las Vegas. And And then I met him after I had left. And he would look just the same as he did when he escaped. And I was like, dude, did you lose weight? And he was like, no, I might even gain a little bit. I was like, oh, I thought you were like 400 pounds. He was like, what? It was just all made up by Scientology so that they could, use that as an excuse to just blame stuff on that guy. Okay. Okay, here's another one. I've got some people who've got questions here, and I'm just going to go through and I'm reading your comments, and I'm kind of starring these as I go. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. I've never done this. It says, have you, Mike, or anyone used the FOIA request system to get emails, etc., from the police regarding Scientology? If not, it should be used. Yeah, this is the Freedom of Information Act. And I actually did do that. That's how I got the police report that's in my book. That was gotten from a request, a public records request. And I've never done it for anything else. I don't know. I guess you could do it. I haven't done it, but somebody wants to do that, they could. I guess you just have to know what in law enforcement or what agency you should get it from. But that's a good question. Okay, here we go. The A to J check questions when you route out onto new lines. Please talk about the questions they ask, especially do you owe taxes and any thoughts of self-harm. Okay, so the A to J check questions. Okay, so this is a crazy thing in Scientology. So they have, if you get kicked out of Scientology or you get declared a suppressive, to get back in, there is some steps you have to do, and those are called A to E steps. Okay. Now, there's also like an interview or a sec check that gets done in Scientology, and that's called an A to J check. So we'll have to do a video about an A to J check, but it's basically a list of questions that they have. And then especially, do you owe taxes and any thoughts of self-harm? Well, I don't know why I would owe taxes, but when I was there and I was getting paid when I was getting paid that $46.28, the reason it was $46.28 is because it was $50, and that's what the taxes are on $50. It's like $3 and change to get you $46.28. Yeah, $3 and whatever that is. Somebody doing the math here. 72 cents. $3.72. So the reason I know how much I got paid for the whole time I was there is because when I left, I wrote to Social Security and they sent me a statement. Now you can do all this online, but you can go onto your Social Security, and if you're in the Sea Org, or if you were in the Sea Org and you've left and you've escaped from Scientology, or if you were on staff in Scientology, go to your Social Security profile at I think it's called SSA.gov, the Social Security Administration.gov. Go there and print off the report of your earnings for the years that you were in Scientology or the Sea Org. And if you don't mind, send it to me. I'd love to know how many years you worked there, where you worked, and how much you made over those total years. And then you just divide the weekly amount of hours into the amount of money you got paid, and that's how you come up with the figure. I think I calculated it into the hours. I did a Excel spreadsheet, and I divided the hours into the amount I made, and I think I made, I want to say it was like 32 cents or 36 cents an hour was my average wage. Because even though we were getting $46.28 a week, we were not always getting paid. And on my Social Security statement, I think there was at least 2 or 3 years where they reported zero earnings for the whole entire year. Like, we just didn't get paid. Those were pretty rough years. I remember those. Okay, here's another one. It's from Goldie, and it's from Mickey Lebenz. I think I've heard that name. I think I've sent Mickey a book. Mickey here in chat wants to know if you still have the motorcycle you escaped on. Okay, that's a really good That's a really good question. And the answer is yes and no. So the motorcycle that I escaped on was a 1995 TW200 Yamaha. Yeah, 1995 Yamaha TW200 motorcycle. And after I left, I didn't have a lot of money after I left. And the motorcycle was in pristine condition. And I actually ended up selling that motorcycle to Universal, the movie production company, and they used it in a movie called Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. It was one of the Yakuza, like a Japanese gang or Japanese mafia, whatever, Japanese street gang / mafia motorcycle racers. And they made it into a Yakuza bike for that movie. And I was renting it to them, but then after they fully destroyed it, I was able to sell it to them for an insane amount of money. And after we moved to Colorado, this was when I was still in Los Angeles. After we moved to Colorado, I found the exact same bike with the exact same amount of miles I had on it. And I basically restored it to look exactly like the motorcycle that I had when I was at the property. And that motorcycle is parked at this house that I live in right now. So I have the exact same model, color, everything. It's exactly the same, but it's not the actual bike that I escaped on, but it looks like it. And if I didn't tell you the whole story, you'd think it was. So, but I did have some kind of connection to that motorcycle. So I got another one that was exactly the same. I hope that answers your question. That was a great question. I like that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, thanks for the question, Mickey. I answer all the questions I see that are good or that I like. I don't just answer the super chats. But if you do a super chat, I will try to get it and answer it. Let me see. There's a lot of here we go. Oh yeah, there was a lot. How many people are in here? I have to kind of move this around. Oh, almost 500 people in here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Goldie is a rock star. Okay, somebody's making up lyrics. Goldie is golden. Goldie's a rock star. Okay, yeah, we know Goldie's a rock star. Do you guys have any questions? There's a lot of statements. I'll do a, oh yeah, this guy's writing a song in here. Who's a dirty cop? I'm a private detective, Scientologist scammer. Who's a dirty cop? Oh boy. Okay. Hey, it's Jorge. I know this guy. He used to be at the Ant Base. Now, Jorge, I don't know what Jorge's current status is, but Jorge, his father used to work at Able International, which is the kind of the Sea Org group that runs Narconon, Way to Happiness, Applied Scholastics, and Criminon. And his dad used to work there. His mom used to work at Golden Era Productions, and his brother used to work at Golden Era Productions. And Jorge was a security guard at the international base. And his comment says, "Hey, Mark, I took part of the blow drill too. LOL, I blew to Mexico." Yes, Jorge participated on the blow drill, tracking people down, and then he eventually became the subject of a blow drill and escaped and blew to Mexico. It's hard to get people back from Mexico, especially if they're Mexican. That's a hard recovery if you're doing the blow drill. Thanks, Jorge. Hope you're doing well. Say hi to your brother Felipe. His brother Felipe used to work for me when I ran the film crew. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, if you're in here, subscribe, hit the like button. That's all good. It's free. Smash the like button. No, you don't have to smash it. Just hit it normally. I don't know where the smash thing came from. That seems like everybody wants to say smash it. But, yeah, you don't have to smash anything. Especially if you're doing stuff with computers. It's likely to gently touch it. Okay, here's a good one. Well, this person's very, very Sherry Van Horsen, Tiki Hut RV. Hey, Sherry. Just finished the book. Why the hell isn't Scientology charged with violating child labor laws, wage and hour laws, OSHA violations, not to mention assault charges? This is a very good question. And I will tell you the main reason that I think of. And that is, if you're in the Sea Org and all these things are happening, like all of the above, it's normal in Scientology for the most part. Like all of those things. Child labor laws, wage and hour laws, OSHA violations, and assault. That's all like a Tuesday in Scientology. When you leave, or when anyone leaves or escapes from Scientology, it usually takes a few years for them to decompress or to kind of like, for the brain fog to wear off and for them to know and to learn and get educated about all these things. And usually by the time that happens, the statute of limitations have run, and there's no way to prosecute or even charge them with any of these things, because they have, like, some of these things have 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, depending on what it is. And also, everyone has to participate in these things. So Scientologists that are still in might not cooperate. So when I became, sorry, I'm going to take a drink. I got this frog. Excuse me. Sorry. When I think probably within a year, I was like, oh, I get it. This whole thing's a scam. These guys are criminals and they should all go to jail. And that was my main reason for posting all this stuff on the internet, was just to air it out and also see what would happen. Well, obviously Scientology came at me pretty hard, but there were a lot of lawsuits where people weren't bringing lawsuits against Scientology, and they hadn't been bringing lawsuits against Scientology for decades. My wife and I think, were the first people to sue Scientology in probably a few decades. And now people are suing Scientology, and they're going to court all over the place in all different countries for all amounts of crazy things. So somebody kind of had to break the dam. Even though my wife and we lost our lawsuit, it was dismissed. There was another lawsuit that was started at the exact same time as ours, that we were the same lawyers and everything, but they took a slightly different tact in that lawsuit, and that lawsuit ended up getting settled. And there have been other lawsuits that have we had to figure out what their weaknesses were, and Scientology has kind of shored up some of those weaknesses, and they've done some other things to evade getting busted for some of those things. But sooner or later, now that we have more and more Scientologists that are leaving and willing to cooperate, I think it's just a matter of time before there's just hundreds of lawsuits. And at some point, the IRS has to revoke their tax exemption. And once that happens, it's kind of like that will be the true beginning of the end. I have a note here. Somebody wrote on my comments, they said that I say basically like 150 times a video. So I have a note here that says, don't say basically. I don't think I've said it yet, but if I have, I'm basically sorry about that. But I'm trying not to say it as much as I was. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I know, Gold, the moms were great, but busy, and dude is amazing, but I will never go to a live again. Oh, sorry. How is Scientology? Okay, here's a good one. How has Scientology gotten away with not paying Sea Org members minimum wage? It's happening in plain sight. Where is the labor board? Okay, Sea Org members are volunteers. They're not employees. That's the short answer to that question. Scientology can pay them nothing and get away with it. I think that Scientology thinks that they're paying them $45.28 is like good for them. They shouldn't complain. Okay, Stephen Britton. A child of Cascadia. David's a bully, so nobody's free unless they escape from the org of the sea. Bang, bang, boom. Okay, thank you, Stephen. I'm not sure what Stephen's doing here. I think Stephen's writing a song. Yakuza is correct for that movie. Thank you. I know Yakuza. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. There are a ton of questions. Okay. Scooter G says, I saw my Scientology documentary that you started, and it was awesome. Marty seemed unhinged at times. Yes, Marty was unhinged at times. You're right. Marc, question. Why isn't Scientology big in Canada? Well, I don't know. I guess that's a good question. Probably because they got challenged. This is just a guess because I'm not Canadian and I'm not like totally up on the Scientology scene in Canada. But I do know that there was a lot of pushback in Canada early on in I want to say in the 60s and the 70s. And I think also there's some kind of law that says that the religious exemptions and that sort of thing are a little bit different in Canada. And I think their system is a little bit more robust in terms of letting people get away with the things Scientology gets away with. So I'd say that's the reason why they're not so big there, because they kind of get lit up there when they do anything that is kind of shady. Okay, do you support the presidential ticket Xenu/Xena 2025? Make TGAC great again? Okay, J.R. Exner. Excuse me. That is an amazing question. I didn't know there was a 2025 election, but now I'm going to tell you something. I haven't told anybody. I've been saying for many, many years, Xenu is my homeboy, and I actually tried to get the website Xenu is my homeboy, and I could never get it. Well, I would like to announce to everybody right now that I am the proud owner of the xenuismyhomeboy.com website, and I plan to do things with it. I haven't figured out exactly what, but I'm going to do something. I think we're going to do merch, just so you guys know. Okay. Yeah, I would love a book from Claire too. Actually, I cried when I read the book and Claire joined Marc. Like a drama romance man. Yes. Oh, thank you, Mickey. That's Mickey again. Yes. If you haven't gotten my book, Blown for Good, you should get it. It's a good book. That's what people tell me. We have sold thousands and thousands and thousands of copies since 2009. And the book still holds up to this day because almost all the stuff that they were doing when I was there, they're still doing. And you can get it at blownforgood.com. And Claire and I have both signed it. Or you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Kobo. You can get it on e-reader. You can get it on Apple. You can pretty much get it anywhere books are sold. Hard copy, paperback, digital, or audio. And I read the audiobook as well. And I do lots of voices. I don't just do other people in my voice. I try to imitate or try to make out like there's this one lady, Muriel, who when I was escaping on my motorcycle and I got run off the road by the security guards from the international headquarters, and then the police were helping me get into town, and this lady Muriel, who was the PR lady from the international headquarters, she drove up next to the police and she said, "What's wrong with Marc?" So like that, I do that in the book. It's lots of fun. Okay. What else we got? We have got a lot of questions coming in now. What time is it? Oh, we're still good. We got time. Okay. Whoosh. Hello. Do you know where I can get the secret books and other Scientology material now when the WikiLeaks source is down? I have no idea what that means. The secret books? There's no secret Scientology books. Almost all the books that are written by L. Ron Hubbard, you can get them on eBay for like $3. Even the ones that cost hundreds of dollars, like leather bound, like gold leaf editions, you can get them for $10 on eBay in most cases. So yeah, don't worry about that. There's no secret books. The secret books, I don't even know about. Okay, here's a good one. Is it just odd that high demand groups usually have sexual control? Scientology is pretty quiet on that front. Oh no. Scientology, they're very, very hyper focused on sexual conduct. And when you're a public member or you're a staff member, it's a little looser. But as soon as you join the Sea Org, they own your reproductive freedom and they dictate it for the most part. So it used to be if a girl got pregnant in the Sea Org, like 99% chance she's getting an abortion, whether she wants one or not, it's happening. Since my wife and I claimed that they did that, they now basically, if you do get pregnant, you have the option to leave without any nonsense. So yeah, that's it is looser if you're the further you go down in Scientology to organizations and public members, but in the C organization, it's 100%. All that activity is controlled by Scientology. Stephen Britton says, how does Criminon work? Criminon, it's actually spelled Criminon, Criminon. But Criminon is basically, you just do some introductory Scientology courses, and they've just been kind of formatted and remarketed as like extension workbooks. So you could do them in prison. You could do the chores or the activities in the course, and then you just tear out the lessons, and then you send them into Scientology, and they get graded, or they get graded at the prison if there's like a Criminon kind of ringleader there that's been assigned that volunteers for Criminon. So yeah, okay, let's keep going here. I sent a super chat, but I haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure I did yours, Scooter G. I'm trying to find him here. Here we go. What was the most outrageous and or violent outburst you've ever personally witnessed from COB? By the way, I received my signed book last week. Why, thank you. I guess it's Chris OC or CHRZOC. You're welcome. What was the most outrageous or violent outburst you've ever personally witnessed from COB? Okay, this is in my book. And there was an event that we had in Los Angeles at the Los Angeles Sports Arena, which is no longer there. It's been bulldozed. But it was an event where there was an honor guard and a color guard, and they were basically dancing around the stage with these flags. And then this was the opening to the event. They did this big thing. I want to say this was was it the 1993 event? No, it was at the year 2000 event. Yes, it was at the year 2000 event. Was it? I can't remember. It might have been the 1993 event. They were both at the sports arena, and they both had honor guard. So you'd have to look in the book to tell which one. But basically, the color guard that danced around with all these flags, it was the 2000 event. I'm pretty sure now that I think of it, because I think the guy that got busted was my junior. Yes, it was the 2000 event. Okay, so there was the New Year's event, 2000, at the sports arena in Los Angeles. And the color guard danced around, and the guy that was in charge of the color guard, which was the stage manager, his name was John Thomas. And John Thomas told these girls, when you get off the stage, you're going to just take your flags, which are pointy, and throw them in this one area backstage. So that's what they did. Well, right when they're done is right when David Miscavige comes out. And David Miscavige, he was supposed to enter from one side of the stage, but then he changed his mind, and he was going to enter from another part of the stage. And it was the exact spot where John Thomas told those girls to throw their flags, which were basically spears, in teenager hands. And so David Miscavige was standing there, and all these girls started coming off the stage after they did their dance routine, and they started chucking their spears right in this spot where David Miscavige was standing. And he said, this is the way he tells it, but he's a drama queen, but he said that he could hear and he could feel the spears whizzing past his hair as they were being thrown off stage, and then he got out of the way. So yeah, there was an outburst there. I'm pretty sure that John Thomas went directly to the Rehabilitation Project Force, or RPF, for that one single thing. So yeah, that was a big outburst. There was other ones though. Okay, let's see here. Somebody says, say basically as often as you need. Why, thank you. And then there's another lady who said basically, LOL, LOL. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Please see my question about Ontario. See, the hard thing is that let's see how many people are in here right now. There are 564 people in here, and they're commenting way too fast for me to go back and look for that. Okay, here's a good one. Mark, clergy, teachers, and medical staff are mandatory reporters. Oh yeah, I think Aaron did a video on that today. That would include the people isolated for emotional problems. Why isn't that in court? Again, who's going to report them? So Scientology would have to be reporting on themselves. So that's not going to happen. But there are a lot of people that are finding out about these things, and we are now exposing that they're not doing their mandatory reports. So this is going to cause them some troubles. I think Aaron did a video, Growing Up in Scientology YouTube channel. I think he did a video on mandatory reporting today. Do you think Debbie Cook would ever do an interview, or do you think the NDA she signed banned her from anything Scientology or just about the case? No. So, sorry, I'm going to take a sip here because I got another frog in my throat. Okay. Debbie Cook was a very high-ranking Scientologist and Sea Org member that worked at the Clearwater location, the Flag Land Base, or FLB, or just Flag. She was the captain of the Flag Service Organization in Clearwater, and she was promoted to the Amp Base. She was there for a few months to a year, and she was like, this is crazy, and she left. And when she left, Scientology gave her some money, and they told her, you can't say anything, and just go and do your thing. Well, that didn't really sit well with her, and then she spilled the beans. And then they sued her, and then when she went to court with them, she spilled a bunch more beans, and they settled it right away. And this time, they paid her so much that it was actually a valid non-disclosure agreement, and she hasn't said anything since. I don't think there's anything else that she could say that she didn't already say. So there's not really any reason for her to do another interview, because the things that she said were so damaging and were so thorough that they literally just got out their checkbook and just started adding zeros to the check that they wrote her. And yeah, I'm glad that she got paid, and I'm glad that she exposed and said most of what she knew. So I don't think there's any reason for her to do an interview anyway. So Scooter G, maybe you're banned. No, see, look, maybe I'm banned. You're not banned. I just showed you. Okay. We all appear to be letting Mark catch up with our ranting. Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm working at it. I'm yelling at the screen because there's one in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, basically. LOL, LOL. Yeah, they do have organizations in Canada, but they're just not as big as in the United States. Jackie Rose 11 says, thanks for sharing and being a whistleblower. Love from Xenu and his homeboys. Yeah, thank you. Xenu is my homeboy. Hashtag Xenu is my homeboy. Okay. This is a great one. Elsie, I'm very curious how hard it is to live in the real world after leaving Scientology. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I was in Scientology pretty much my whole life, and I know I need to get some moderators, Renee B. Thanks. I was in Scientology pretty much my whole life until I was in my early 30s, and I hadn't really worked many other places besides working for Scientology. But if you are being treated, it's basically, I'm like a rescue, okay? Like a rescue animal. Like, I thought life was great, and then, you might get in a situation that's not the best for you, and you might not be getting treated that well, and then you get adopted out to the real world, and everybody's nice, and you get fed, and you have a nice place to sleep, and if you have a normal dog that you've had since it was a baby, and you have a rescue dog, that rescue dog loves you usually a lot more than that regular dog, because that regular dog's had it good the whole time. That rescue dog, he had it probably pretty bad before you got it, or rescue cat or rescue gerbil or whatever kind of animals you're rescuing. I've personally rescued cats and dogs, so I only have experience with those. My kids had a sugar glider once, but I don't think that was a rescue. Okay, let's see. I've gotten your email, Goldie. I can't. I use a certain app for this interface, and I have to add the users to moderate in YouTube, and I haven't figured out a way so it can cross over to this. So that's just on my end. What's wrong with Marc? Oh yeah, exactly. That's what the girl said. This IA0, he's very inside baseball. This guy right here. Yes, inside. What he's just saying what I said. So Goldie, I got your email. I got everything. I just got to figure it out. And I do have, I'm just going to say this right now. I have a normal day job. So whenever I'm doing this stuff, I do it from the hours of like 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. That's when I do YouTube. So, unlike Aaron, who spends the entire day, doing this stuff and doing lots of videos and stuff like that, I actually have other stuff that I do. And that's how I support my family, is doing my day job. The YouTube thing is just kind of a continuation of my Scientology Crusader hat. Okay. Yeah. Here's a good one. I thought Marc said a few streams ago that he doesn't know how to bequeath the wrench. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't figured that out yet. I just haven't spent any time on it. Here's a good comment. Child abuse is despicable. Yeah, pretty much. That's why we are trying to expose it. Denver Stevio. Hey, Denver Stevio. I don't know if you're from Denver. That's just the name you like. Do I recall correctly that you are longtime friends with Jason Begay? Any chance at putting together an AMA Q&A with him sometime soon on your channel? Yes, I am best buddies with Jason Begay, and I have spent many a time with Jason Begay. Jason Begay, for those of you who don't know, he plays detective or sergeant, some kind of cop on Chicago PD. He's the main character on Chicago PD. He's Voight, and he plays a cop. He's the boss cop on Chicago PD. Jason Begay and I went to Germany together to do a conference, and we actually spoke. It was a lot. It was basically like a European like FBI and police equivalent in Europe, with tons of European countries, and they came to this conference, and we basically explained to them and did a seminar and did a whole thing on how Scientology avoids prosecution and kind of gets around laws and possible ways that they could stop that. And there were police and law enforcement from tons of different European countries. And I think it was very successful. And so, yeah, Jason's done a ton of stuff. Excuse me. There is a video on YouTube where Jason Begay, I think it's on Marc Bunker's channel. I can't remember whose channel it's on, but I'm pretty sure it's on Marc Bunker's channel, Xenu.tv. Marc Bunker is currently a Clearwater city council member, but he has spent decades doing videos on Scientology since the 90s, I want to say, at least maybe late 80s even. And so yeah, if you want to watch that video on Jason Begay, it's there. As far as me putting together a video with Jason Begay, I'm pretty sure that Chicago PD are compensating him more than I could possibly ever do that. And he has a whole new life now. I don't think he talks about Scientology at all. I don't think he even cares about them in the slightest. But he has done a lot to expose them. So anyway, awesome. Let's keep going. Here we go. This is a great question, Jackie Colbury. When someone gets sick enough to go to the hospital, do you need an escort? Well, if you're sick enough that you need to go to the hospital, I'm pretty sure they're not worried about you escaping. But it also depends on who you are. Like if Shelley got sick, Shelly Miscavige, if Shelly Miscavige got sick and had to go to the hospital, she's going with an escort. Same thing with any other big executives that know. It's basically depends on what you know. If you know stuff that's damaging, you're going to get an escort. If you don't, no, you just go to the hospital. Okay. This is great. Brandon Krogstad. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I grew up in a cult. I just had a warm, fuzzy feeling. I got blocked by a Scientologist on Twitter for saying I learned about it on South Park. Okay, well, yeah, that's not really doing any much harm to them. So, it's not really mean. I was in Clearwater last week for a few days, and we went to the Clearwater building, and I did some videos. I'm gonna see if I can put something together for that. But there were Sea Org members all over the place, and I didn't really harass them because they're not the problem. It's the bosses who are the problems. So yeah, okay. Huge fan. Thanks for all you do. Can you explain why the cult needs ships? Are Sea Org staff out to sea? And if so, isn't that kind of sketchy for safety reasons? Happy New Year and thanks. Yeah, the Sea organization was born out of the fact that L. Ron Hubbard used to be in the military. He was in the Navy, and I think he left the Navy. I think he was discharged from the Navy. I'm not sure what they call it. Dishonorably discharged. I think he was dishonorably discharged from the Navy. I'm not sure about that. But either way, the Navy was not a fan of him, regardless of how he left it. But in the 60s, he had moved from the United States. He'd moved to England, and he'd sort of set up camp in England because they were coming after him from the United States. And when they started coming after him from England, he went to South Africa. And then when they started coming out after him in South Africa, he decided international waters was the place for him. And that's how the Sea Organization was born. So I think once they kind of sorted out why they were getting attacked everywhere, which was basically from Hubbard himself, and for all this nefarious nonsense they were up to, that basically they started moving back to land. And that is the reason why FLAG is called the FLB, the Flag Land Base. Because before, they had all these ships, and the main ship was called the flagship. And that was the big ship that they did all the Scientology counseling and training. And when they figured out the legalities of what they were doing enough to be able to do that on land, they moved it. I think they first moved to Daytona, and then they moved to Clearwater Beach. And they named that location the Flag Land Base. And that's why you have all these Sea Organization bases that are all on land. The only Sea Org base, or the only Sea Org unit that's at sea, is the Free Winds. And that's this tiny little tugboat of a cruise ship that they have that operates out of the ABCs, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And so, yeah, I hope that explains that. That was a very long answer, but I think I got a lot of data into that one little answer. Okay. Goldie, he didn't. The fact that I quoted scan to him, never replied, but I went to look and it shows I was blocked. Well, I didn't block you. I don't know who you're talking about. Comment, people. Okay, let's see what this says. Oh, it's Denver Stevio again. Thanks to you and Claire for sending the book. Loving it and excited for my bracelet to come so I can officially present as an SP. That's right. We have SP bracelets at the spshop.com if you want one of those. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. This is a good question. Did you eat all those fish you guys caught? Okay, this is some seriously inside baseball. When I was in Clearwater, I took my kids fishing on a fishing boat, and we caught 55 fish, and we did eat them. They were delicious. They weren't the biggest fish, but it was like, I think it was several pounds of fish. Okay, Angela, Tom Cruise is as quiet as a church mouse now. Yes, Tom Cruise was talking a lot about Scientology, and he got smacked around, and now he's been very quiet. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to go here. Aaron did indeed. Yes, he did do a video. Yes, Aaron did a report on mandated reporters. I thought so. I got an alert or something. Okay, I'm always curious where everyone is. Dallas here. Thank you, Renee B. Okay, let me keep going here. There was a good question, but it kind of just ended. Question. Mark, why would any Scientologist under the age of 17 think? Yeah, I think there's more to that question. Goldie, starting trouble for Mark. Okay. Here we go. This is a great one. Maxwell Edison's mom. Well, thank you, Maxwell Edison's mom. Does Scientology ever just let people leave and not give them a hard time when they do? I'm not aware of any of those instances. If you're working them and you know lots of things, then they're probably not going to let you leave without a fight. If you don't know much, if like just say you just read Dianetics and you went into the org and you like watched a film or like an introductory video or something, you could probably go and they'd send you mail and try to get you back in, but I don't think they'd do anything to you. Wow. This is new to me. It says, I thought I saw a recent interview with Debbie Cook where she said she's now a Christian and very involved with her new church. Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're talking about Amy Scobie, but maybe. I haven't heard of that. But either way, good for them. I'm happy for them. Okay. What time is it? Okay, we got a few more minutes left here. I'm gonna go hard here. This is a good one. Why not do an anonymous child abuse report? That's very probable, and I'm pretty sure that people have done that. But then again, you have to be able to get inside the organization to investigate that child abuse. And if the parents and the children are not willing to cooperate, there's not a lot you can do. So, yeah. Debbie Richardson. Seems like Claire was more invested in the COSBS. Did it take her longer to come out of the brain fog than you? Hope this made sense. That made perfect sense. I think it did. She was actually further up the kind of the training and processing levels of Scientology. So there was a little bit more washing of the brain going on. So, and I didn't have that much. So yeah, it probably did take her a little bit longer, but not much. Okay. Blunt for good. Exposing. Question. How come there are so many reports of COB beating grown men from photos? He doesn't look like he could beat my little niece. You know, it's really funny you say that, Zeus04. My 9-year-old is 1 inch shorter than David Miscavige. 1 inch. Trust me. When he's taller than David Miscavige, I'm going to tell people about it. I think he has a birthday coming up in a few months. I think by his birthday, I'm betting by his birthday, he's taller than David Miscavige at 10 years old. So the reason is because Dave Miscavige has a whole bunch of henchmen around him. And so when he's beating on you, the second you get to do anything to fight back, you get grabbed and you get carried out of the building like I did the one time I looked like I might have been about to do something. So yeah. That's why. I was adopted by my dad when he married my mom, and I appreciated him way more than his biological kids. I can agree with your rescue analogy. There you go. See? Yeah, Mark, here we go. This is the thing I need. You would need to provide the mods with a link to your StreamYard backend. Well, thank you, Steven. That makes a lot of sense. I'll figure out how to do that, whatever that means. Okay. Let's see here. We got, here's a good one. Okay, this is a good question. Jack Wefso. How do you feel about organizations like the Free Zone, which try to preserve LRH tech outside of Church of Scientology? Okay, the Free Zone is basically a place where they have Scientology courses that you can do that don't cost any money. I personally think that everything that Scientology is based on, LRH stole from something else. I don't think L. Ron Hubbard I personally don't think he had an original thought. I think he was a thief and a liar, either made it up or he stole it from somebody else. He was a very prolific writer, and he was also a very prolific reader. So it's safe to say that he read a lot of stuff and he stole a lot of little things from a lot of little places. And so I think anything from Hubbard is basically kindling or something that you could start a fire with. I don't think there's anything useful that Hubbard came up with. So yeah, I don't think you should pay for it, and I don't think you should do it for free. I think you should stay away. There are a lot of people, like you hear about these people who are dying in Florida, these people that have gone all the way to the top of Scientology's bridge to total freedom, and they are setting themselves on fire and killing themselves. So it's not an accident these things are happening. Scientology is cross-wiring their brains and driving these people insane. So I don't think you should do that for free. Here we go. Chris says, I feel you, Mark. I'm at work right now designing aircraft components. Going to be a long night. Well, good for you, Chris. That sounds like a worthwhile endeavor. And I am quite the aircraft aficionado lately. My wife updates avionics on small passenger planes, believe it or not. So there's a lot of aircraft stuff happening in our family every once in a while. Okay, last few questions. I'm going to do 3 or 4 more questions, and then we're going to get out of here. Blown for good. Do you think it would be possible to get a pair of spy glasses to one of the trainees in Clearwater? No. Those trainees are getting used hard and put away wet. No. When somebody like that gets caught with something like that, bad things happen to them. I would never set one of those guys up for getting caught like something like that. Yeah, Jason Begay played Hank Reardon in Atlas Shrugged Part 2 and was probably one of the best actors in that film. Yes, I remember when he shot that movie, Stephen. Okay, here we go. Okay, this I think is a joke, but I'm going to read it anyway. Any thoughts on starting a GoFundMe to support having books like Blown for Good, Going Clear, A Billion Years, engraved on stainless steel tablets and encased in titanium capsules underground? No. Scientology does etch their L. Ron Hubbard books into steel or stainless steel plates and then puts them in titanium capsules sealed with argon gas and then buries them inside of the mountains. I don't think I need to do that for my book. Jen Nelson says, did you ever go and get a high school diploma or a GED? No is the answer to that. I did not finish past Scientology school. The Scientology school that I went to didn't really have grades. It had like kind of sections. And I think the section that I got up to is the only reason I even have a kind of a sort of a yardstick of where it got to is because when all of my kids get past, I have 3 boys and 2 of them are past 13. And usually when they're about 13 is when their homework looks like foreign languages to me. So I want to say whatever grade you're in when you're 13, that's as far as I got in school. So yeah, no, I haven't done that. Find your, that's not a, so that's what I need a moderator for, basically. That comment right there. They didn't even put a link, so it's kind of disservice to all of us. And the porn bats have arrived. That's what Goldie said. And the porn bots have arrived. Okay. SP detected. That's fun. Well, there's not that many. I'm getting a lot of questions here. What is the deal with Shelley Miscavige? Marc and Goldie and the other guys. Okay. Let's do 2 more and then we're out of here. It's a Strange Love movie joke. No. Okay. Here we go. Boof. Mark, what is the deal with the blinding, ugly, gaudy design ethos of Scientology? Is that an LRH thing, or does Miscavige order it that way because he thinks it looks good? I think it's sort of, that's a David Miscavige thing. Anything that's happening in Scientology these days is all from Miscavige. And So yeah, I would say that's a Miscavige thing. Okay, here we go. Boom. Mark, I ordered the book and read it in 2 days. I couldn't put it down. I laughed and cried. Thank you for writing an amazing book. Well, if I don't know if that's a plug, I don't know what is. It's Joseph Martin. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to do one last one. Here we go. And this one. Do your kids ever ask about Scientology? Thanks, Elsie. No, they don't. I think the kids have grown up hearing us talk about it and hearing us talk to, like, we're friends with the Rinders and we're friends with the Smith-Levins. And so all their kids and our kids are all kind of hanging out together. And when we get together, it comes up. So I think they've heard enough over the years to kind of get that it's not that great and they probably don't want to have anything to do with it. But I don't think any of my boys have ever read my book. I think if they really, really wanted to know, I think they would read that. And then that would kind of tell them everything that I could tell them about it. But yeah, they don't ask about it. I think they know a lot, or they know enough that they don't ask me directly with it. Okay. That's all for the questions. I just wanted to tell you guys a few cool things that we have coming up that are going to be amazing. We're basically still giving away a book every 1,000 subscribers on my channel. I think we just hit 15K today, so we've given out a total of 15 books so far. And I am going to give out another 65 books until we get to 80,000 subscribers. But I'm going to give out a book for every 1,000 subscribers until we get up to 100,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm going to give a book out every single 1,000. It's signed by me and my wife. And if you want a paperback, I'll give you a paperback. If you want a hardback, I'll give you a hardback. And actually, if you want an Audible copy, I'll give you an Audible copy. I can give you a code and you can just go download it for free. If you're a member of Audible, I can give you a code. I think you have to at least be able to get on Audible. So I can send you a code for it as well. And then people who want an SP bracelet, I'll send you an SP bracelet. I'll even send you a bobblehead. But I'm trying to get rid of my books for my channel, and the bracelets and the bobbleheads are really fundraising items for the SP shop. So we try to sell those as much as we can. But so yeah, if you go to any one of my videos and comment that you would like a paperback, a signed paperback or a signed hardback, and we're right around 1,000, whatever milestone of another 1,000 subscribers, we just randomly pick a person and we send them a book. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you want a book, hardback, or any kind of format, paperback, hardback, or Audible, say in the comments that's what you want. And if you're right around the right people, poof, we'll do it. And we do it every 1,000 subscribers. So the more people you can get to subscribe, the more chances are that you're going to get a book, or you're going to enter a chance. The more times you comment, you want a book. Another thing we're going to do is, if you already have an SP bracelet, or you already have a book, or you already have a Mike Rinder bobblehead, we're going to start having a contest. Who can take the best picture of those things? It can be at a monument. It could be at a Scientology organization. It could be in Clearwater. It can be in Los Angeles. We had somebody send in a bunch of pictures of Mike Rinder bobbleheads at one of the organizations in Los Angeles, and they were pretty amazing. The best pictures that we get of those, we are going to give that person a bracelet or a bobblehead or a book or whatever they don't have. So if you want to sign up for that, you can do that by just emailing the channel on the About page on my YouTube channel. If you email your photos to that, I'm going to include those at the ends. I'm going to start including photos that we get sent in. I'm going to start including those in my videos near the end. So the person who sent those pictures in from Los Angeles, your pictures are going to be in one of the next videos that comes out. And if you want a bracelet, or you want a bobblehead, or you want one of those things, then go take some crazy pictures of one of these places and send it in, and we'll do it. I got to show this just as a comment. Love the bobblehead. Got myself one. Thank you, and Claire, for all you do. Thank you, Claire Alice. And with that, I think we are going to end off. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We got more videos coming out this week. I'm going to try to do at least one live every week to answer your questions. And we've got a ton of more Scientology spy files coming out in the next week. So until next time.